state of Maine began in June of 1905. Before the year was out, they had 736 auto registers in the state of Maine. Quite large for that early on.
Yes.
Same company, 1904.
This is a track style body where the front seat swings out for entry to the back seat. So you can see the seat hanging out. So you step up in there, step through where that seat would be, and then you would get in, close the door, and then you close the seat, and your wife or whoever's sitting in front would sit down. This trapped the kids in back. No doors to open or any of that. It also eliminated no doors, no hinges other than that one hinge for the seat. So cost, dependability of the body, not going to pieces fast and like that.
Moore's Motor Sled, Goodwin's Mills, 1903.
The rear wheel lowers down to drive the spikes into the ice and snow to propel this. All I can think of is people letting their animals out in the lake. Maine has also developed many steam-propelled, self-propelled vehicles for snow and ice.
Charles Prisman, Waterville, patent for a sled.
Notice the endless track following along with the idea of the Lombard log hauler.
Edwin F. McIntyre of Freiburg.
This patent is for a traction engine to drive the steel pins through the wheel to engage in the ice.
Napoleon St. Peter, Fairfield, 1904.
This patent is for a street sweeper and approved in 1906. Now, I've been to Fairfield a few times, but in 1904, I still can't understand why somebody had the idea they had to sweep the streets of Fairfield, Maine. That one kind of bothers me a little bit. Yeah, but that's what the road is dirt.
It wasn't the dirt.
Well, it's a vacuum. He's got a vacuum in there, so that doesn't suck up that other stuff. So, it still bothers me.
Maybe you're planning to market it in Boston or something.
Well, this is true, but you got to talk about it and have fun with
Louis Valaire,
it. Yeah,
Sanford.
that's what I want.
Louis Valaire, Sanford, 1905.
This vehicle was an 8-horsepower touring car with a license plate number 459. His two daughters were in the back seat for this photo, possibly in front of their home on Bodwell Street. He was a tinsmith. Well, you know, hearing the story about tinsmiths and the profit they must have made, this is far beyond most tinsmiths that I would think of in the early 1900s, what they was capable of spending money on. The time, the money. He must have hit some mommy daddy money somewhere or something. A lot of these people vanished. We're trying to chase them in modern times other than this and like that. Some of them we have, most of them vanish right off the face of the earth and we just can't find them.
G.E. Joy, Sherman Mills, 1906.
When we published the other book, we had an article in the Royston paper. And then that afternoon the paper came out. I had a phone call, a man over in Bridgeton, I think it was, over that way. I forgot about it. Forgot his name, forgot exactly what town. But he wanted to know if I had anything about his grandfather in the book. And I said, well, what was his name? He tells me. I said, no. What do you have? He says, I have a newspaper clipping that he made an automobile. Boy, I like to see that someday. You busy this afternoon? Of course I wasn't. Come right over. Well, he comes in and shows me this picture, and oh, that's great. 2 weeks later, I call him up and ask him if he'd like to come back over and visit again. I found another newspaper where he'd made a second automobile, and the grandson didn't know about it.
H.H. Flynn, Waterville, 1905 and 06.
See the flywheel in front of the rear tire wheel? Well, there's an engine on each side to drive the vehicle, an engine for each wheel. Here he is, this Lynn again, and the boxes on top are for dogs. You can see the little dog wagons and like that up there. He carried his tent, his bleachers, his generator, everything to put this show on wherever he stopped. I mean, for most boys at this time, you'd find that nickel somehow just to go see this vehicle. All this, that's the dog show. Later on, he added ponies, moving pictures, and like that too.
The dog show vehicle for 1910.
This, I believe, if anybody can prove me wrong, I want to hear about it. But this is the grandfather of all modern-day snowmobiles that we see around here all winter long. It's a single track with a 2-point. It's summertime, so you got to have wheels, not skis. But he came to be the dealer of them, and he traveled around advertising them and like that. In the wintertime, he worked for Lombard and like that. Notice the bell on the side of the seat riser, the vise on the running board for repairs. Notice the large gas fuel tank underneath. I mean, there you go again. To see this come into town, most of us would have to get there to see this alone.
This is the Lynn and Waterville 1912.
Painted on the side, H.H. Lynn Dog and Pony Show. This had a Brennan engine with a 6-inch bore and a 6-inch stroke. Look at the heavy-duty wheels. Those horses, ponies, or whatever, and everything else was hit. He figured it was going to be a heavy load.
Maybe you already said, but do some of those Lynn vehicles still exist?
Yes. There's 3 brothers that have quite a collection of them up in Vassarboro. They have Lynn's and Lombard. If you find the right area or go up there and ask around, you can find them pretty easy. And last time I was up, they had one in the front yard at one of the boys' house, and at the mother's house they had 2 or 3 laying around that you could see from the street. There you go again, live. They're not little.
Olin Ronsley, Springdale, 1906.
Years ago, this vehicle was in bushel baskets and cardboard boxes down by the fairgrounds in New Gloucester. A few years back, we had a great-grandson, son got together, and they started putting the thing together. And they got together running, giving family rides and like that, and they both died very close together. Their wives have donated it now to the Maine State Museum, and it's on exhibit. I can't say it's the most beautiful automobile built in the state of Maine, but it is one. It has a 2-cylinder opposed engine with a speed of about 12 miles an hour. This is another one. Ranks up there with that vacuum cleaner street sweeper. You've seen the Peavey, it screws itself around. You've seen the Lombard that has tracks. This thing walks. See, you've got 8 feet there. 2 of them are identical to each other. So this thing is walking 2 feet at a time. And they kind of swing around on a cam action to bring them off the ground and bring them back down to engage it. But this is also the size of a steam engine on a railroad.
C.W. Dennis, Augusta.
Another snowmobile on tracks. I keep looking at this and hoping I could come up with enough coin to build this on the plans here and have some fun with it. Because every winter we have Model T snowmobile meets all the way from New York to New Hampshire, Vermont. They had these conversion kits to put on Model T Fords, and there's a club now, and they have meetings in the wintertime, giving rides and like that. If you find where there is one, basically what you have to do is walk up to one that's running or getting ready to run and ask if they have room for a passenger. If they have room, and you look like they'd like to have you because of your size or whatever, they just as apt to say, climb aboard. Because we're all kids, and these people are out there playing around with these things all the time.